Good evening and thank you for watching Made by Albi Showcase. I'm David, head of games at Albi, and I'm excited to show you our upcoming titles that are going to be released this year. We have an incredible lineup tonight: Dirt and Dust, Severton, Karak, Tea Garden and much more. Last year was groundbreaking for Albi Games. Our title, Tea Garden, has become one of the most popular titles at SNSpiel, and within a few weeks or months, the localized edition will be introduced in the US, Spain, Italy, Hungary, Japan, China, France, Korea, Netherlands and Germany. Other of our titles, Beautiful Wisdom, will soon be released in Mexico and Korea, and also other titles we've released last year have met with a great reception. All of that is a result of incredible enthusiasm of our hard-working team that takes care of games in Albi, and of course also of the great ideas of talented designers we have the privilege to work with. But even if the last year was great, this year is shaping up to be even greater. I cannot wait to show you all those fantastic games that we have for all kinds of players. So let's get to it. Dirt and Dust is a strategy motorsport game designed by Petra Čáslavy, one of the co-designers of Kutná Hora, and illustrated by Jakub Politzer, who you may know for his works on Lost Ruins of Arnak or SETI, for example. It's for 1 to 4 players age 14 and up, with a playtime around 90 or more minutes. A strategic motorsport game? Did you hear right? Yes, you did. Dirt and Dust isn't about outpacing your opponents on the track. In this game, you become the head of a rally team, and the path to success leads not just through fast driving, but more importantly, through perfect tuning of your car, right distribution of your efforts, and the ability to adapt to changing situations. This game combines dice placement and deck building mechanics, and it's being played in rounds, but all players play simultaneously. At the beginning of each round, each player rolls their dice, which they later use to activate the effects of the cards placed on their board. But there is so much more in Dirt and Dust than just that. In the box you will find 5 decks of stage cards, 4 drivers with unique abilities on their cards, and 18 decks of racing team, or let's call them action cards. Because of this variability, each game of Dirt and Dust provides with a new and exciting experience. You may not find the thrill of narrowly overtaking your opponents in the last few yards in Dirt and Dust, but it doesn't mean that the game isn't thrilling from the start to finish. In fact, you constantly have to balance between driving fast and risky, which will earn you plenty of points, and making sure you don't completely destroy your vehicle with your reckless driving through the game. Dirt and Dust will be first available at Gen Con through Ares Games, and European premiere is set for SNSpiel in October. For most people, having to move is a nightmare. In fact, I don't know anyone who could enjoy this situation in their life. But what about the situation when you have so much stuff that you have to call several different removal companies at once? I wonder how much of your stuff will survive this operation unharmed. Removal is a fast-paced family game with easy-to-learn rules, designed by Michal Reška, illustrated by Viktor Wong. It's to be played with 2 to 4 players, aged 10 and up, and you should be able to play it within, let's say, 30 to 45 minutes. Each player takes on the role of a removal company's workers, trying to fill their car with all sorts of junk without breaking anything. Players gradually rummage through the house in an attempt to transport the most valuable objects and not drive around with empty car. Some objects cannot lie on their sides, others cannot be placed on top of anything, and some are so heavy that they cannot be carried anywhere but on the bottom. The big moving operation in removal starts in September. Reptile Tank is drafting tableau building game designed and illustrated by Michal Paichl. It's for 1 to 6 players, ages 8 and up, and one game lasts between 20 and 30 minutes. In Reptile Tank, the players draft the cards with various species of lizards, snakes and tortoises and place them in the grid, the eponymous Reptile Tank. At the end of the game, once all grids have been completed, the players will count their points and check who has made their reptiles the happiest. In addition to the animals, the players are also placing the environment cards, stone and herbs, and if some card doesn't suit their intention, they can flip it to its water side and earn some points this way. The Reptile Tank is a sequel to a game by the same author based on the same principle, the Fish Tank. But compared to the Fish Tank, the Reptile Tank is a bit more complex and thoughtful. Still, the Reptile Tank is a game with fairly easy rules anyone can enjoy. And when, you ask? Well, right now. Reptile Tank is available starting today. TroubleZ Run, Revenge of the Jellynator is push your luck game for kids of age 6 and up, designed by Giorgio Galbusera, illustrated by Petr Štefek and set in the same colorful zombie universe as the card game TroubleZ. It's for 2 to 4 players and you will be able to play it in 15 to 30 minutes. It has very simple rules and a fast pace, so the kids will love it. In the role of TroubleZ, you will be fleeing from a monster called Jellynator and rescuing zombie animals that would otherwise be trapped by a Jellynator. The catch is that you don't want to get too far ahead. The last player is rewarded each round, but at the same time you don't want the Jellynator to catch you, because that results in minus points. The game is dice driven, but there is still a lot of meaningful choices to make, so I think if the kids will bring you to the game, you won't regret it. TroubleZ Run, Revenge of the Jellynator is coming out this summer. Garden Lake is a new title by renowned designer Uwe Rosenberg, and every fan of Rosenberg's previous titles like Patchowrk or New York Zoo will feel like home. In Garden Lake, 1 to 4 players aged 10 and up will become the designers of the garden ponds. Such designing will usually take about 30 minutes. The goal of the game is quite simple. You try your best to fill your game board using pentomino tiles to leave as few uncompleted rows and columns as possible, while also earning bonus points through big schools of koi fish and huge gardens of water lilies. You have to plan thoroughly though, because you can only choose a tile from the edges of your display and of the display of the neighboring players. More importantly, the best tiles that are easiest to place must be first unlocked through filling the columns, rows or corners of your game board. And here comes the dilemma. Will you rush to earn the bonus tiles and risk to leave an empty space here and there? Or will you proceed with caution while your opponents are moving forward fast? There is still a risk that the tile you desperately need won't be able for you anyway. Garden Lake will be available on this year's Spiel in Essen. Last year we released a lot of great titles, and it's not just Tea Garden, Witch Dome or expansion for Karak 2. And because the positive responses were overwhelming and our games received a lot of praise, we've prepared a few surprises for you. For the thrilling squad management game Legion: The Siberian Story, we already offered a downloadable story campaign with 3 scenarios last year before Christmas, but we have even more content coming. In cooperation with the authors, we have prepared yet another campaign that is available for download at BoardGameGeek and Albi EU starting this very moment. The beautiful underwater engine builder Atoll will receive a new game mode that brings something many of you have been calling for: more interactions between players, allowing much more aggressive playstyles. Rules for this new mode will be available for download in just a few weeks. And finally, for the relaxing card game /flip and write Rail Line, its author Martin Doležal has prepared a new scoring sheet which offers new ways to play this beautifully crafted title for all fans of the railway, and not just them. You may test it right away. The scoring sheet is available for download at BoardGameGeek and also at Albi EU. We hope you enjoy these small additions to your favorite games, and it's quite possible that we will have even more content in the upcoming months. If you used to play Micro Machines, Meshed or Carmageddon on your PC, Crash Derby will surely be familiar too. It's a game of vehicular combat where it's important not only to move quickly around the map, but especially to skillfully tackle your opponents. The core element of the game, designed by Olda Rail, Ondra Cigánek and Ivan Dostal, is a fresh and rewarding system of 3 gears which determine what actions you can or must perform in each round. But that's not the only interesting thing. In fact, Crash Derby is being developed in collaboration with Prusa Research, and it's a title explicitly designed with the intention of allowing the community to create new content for it, like additional card models, obstacles, or entirely new gameplay elements. At launch, a range of expansion elements will already be available to print at home on the Printables website, with more to come. That way, soon there won't be 2 copies of Crash Derby that would be the same. Crash Derby is designed for 2 to 4 players aged 8 and up, and one game will take approximately 45 minutes to play. It will be released in early November. Karak is undeniably a phenomenon. Karak 1 alone has sold 250,000 units worldwide so far, and if we were to speak of all titles in the Karak family, the number would approach 500,000. We're ever thankful to Karak fans all around the world, and we hope they will be pleased with the new additions from the Karak universe we're about to unveil now. The first of these new releases is Labyrinth, a real-time drawing game by Petr Čáslavy. Labyrinth is designed for 1 to 4 players age 6 and up, and the playing time is around 10 to 15 minutes, making it a true lightning-fast game. Karak Labyrinth is the most accessible game from the world of Karak so far. Players simultaneously try to find the best path through the labyrinth of Karak and to gain the most points, maximizing the completion of the objectives randomly selected from a vast pool of objective cards. Players must not retrace their own steps, and to pass important points of interest, such as a sword to be gained, they must solve the corresponding puzzle minigame, of which there are several different kinds in the game. And it all happens under a time limit. Rules-wise, everything is as simple as possible, and the game will include a tutorial campaign, which means you can start playing as soon as you open the box. Karak Labyrinth is coming to the stores at the beginning of October. It has become a good custom that a game or expansion for Karak is followed by a set of miniatures for those who like their games properly deluxified. Highly anticipated Karak 2 Imperium set is on its way, and it includes also miniatures of previous promo heroes, Victorious for Karak 2 and Darius for Karak 1. This set will be available in July. And while miniatures are coming for one of the expansions, there's already another expansion coming your way. The Karak 2 Chaos serves as a proof that the evil is relentless, and that the challenges heroes of Karak have faced so far were only the beginning. Monsters are massing into huge armies that threaten to destroy the cities the heroes so laboriously built. Elite units need to be summoned, new weapons need to be forged, and the battle against evil must be waged once more. Karak 2 Chaos is the biggest expansion ever created for a Karak game. It introduces 10 new building types, of which you draft up to 2 at the start of the game, allowing you to tailor the shape of your city to your strategy. 5 of the new buildings serve to train new elite units. Each has only 2 dice, but even just one of them will yield an entire army. There's a new mercantile on the game board where players can pay resources to buy items that will help them to deal with a situation when there is no good loot left. Finally, from the cursed cities that have fallen victim to the rampage of the Chaos Riders' armies, mighty warbands march out with one goal in their minds: to raze your cities to the ground. And as an icing on a cake, we introduce a pair of new heroes, the Alchemist and the Acrobat, that are coming to bring the number of available heroes, including promos, for Karak 2 to 18. Karak 2 Chaos will be released on Spiel this October. I've already talked tonight about how happy we are about the worldwide success of Tomáš Holek's Tea Garden. So it might not come as a big surprise that we're going to offer the enthusiastic Tea Garden fans even more content for this wonderful game. The Puer expansion enhances the game with Court of Nobles, enriching your options with 2 new main actions, bringing the total to 7, and the special Imperial decrees then bring even more complexity to the game and expand your strategic choices. As a first new action, you can visit a court for which you'll use the new courtier meeples. The halls of the court not only bring immediate bonuses, but also points at the end of the round if you hold the majority there. The second new action is the Puer market, featuring pieces that can be linked together to earn bonuses not only from newly added pieces, but also from the previous ones. Careful planning is therefore much desirable. In addition, completed Puers also help to earn points at the end of the game. It is necessary to be prepared for the fact that the complexity of Tea Garden increases quite significantly with this expansion, and the time required to play the game is also a bit longer than without it. According to the feedback from all over the world, many Tea Garden fans missed solo mode. I have a good news for all of you. Solo mode and the necessary components for it are to be included in the Puer expansion. But it's actually even better. The expansion itself is not needed for solo play, so we decided to release the rules and components for solo as print and play. The PMP version is available from this very moment. You may download it in Board Game Geek and Albi EU. So, if you can't wait to brew a hot cup of tea and enjoy Tea Garden alone, you can do it right now. The Puer expansion will then be released in October at Spiel. In Severton, we try to catch the essence of childhood adventures like kids on bikes, something like that, and it echoes a world we no longer know. A world where even the close neighborhood can be a mysterious place, and a world where you don't have to go to Skyrim or Himalayas to have an adventure. All you have to do is to cross the busy, dividing avenue. Severton is an adventure where you don't become heroes in exoskeletons or shiny armor, but ordinary boys who want to uncover secrets and prevent mischief. It's an adventure that's not life-threatening for its characters. Well, until life is threatened. The author of Severton is none less than Vlaada Chvátil, undoubtedly the most successful Czech board game author of all time, the mind behind games such as Galaxy Tracker, Mage Knight, and of course, Codenames. Severton is a dangerous place. As a members of the Rapid Arrows Club, you'll attempt to complete quests in 5 interconnected yet fully replayable and variable scenarios, with a key element being the effective use of your cards to move around the Severton. Unfortunately, that's easier said than done, because in addition to the rapid arrows, Severton is filled with groups of hostile wands. You can hide from some of them, you can convince others to let you be, and with some you can deal any other way than through brute force. Whatever the outcome, however, the relief is always short-lived, so it's best to avoid them completely. The key decision comes from choosing how you divide your forces. In a group, it's easier to overpower the wands by force, but you're also easier to be noticed and they'll descend on you like moths to a flame. Alone, members of the Rapid Arrows are more vulnerable, but they have better time hiding and, more importantly, they can multitask, which is often necessary, especially on the higher of the 4 difficulty levels. Eerie atmosphere of the world on the edge of the perceived reality and a dark mystery is a result of a beautiful artwork by one of the most renowned board game illustrators, Miguel Coimbra, and I'm sure it will help you to feel the oppressive atmosphere of Severton in no time. Severton is designed for 1 to 5 players aged 12 and up, with more advanced scenarios typically taking around 90 minutes to complete. The game will premiere at Essen Spiel. And that's all for today. When I said at the beginning that we were going to have a busy year, I wasn't making things up at all. What do you think? Don't forget that from now on you can download the solo mode for Tea Garden and new scoring sheet for Railline on BoardGameGeek and Albi EU. I hope you're excited to play the games I've introduced today. If you are, we'll be happy if you subscribe or like our games on BoardGameGeek, and if you subscribe to our Albi Games and Puzzles Facebook page. You can also visit our booth at BerlinCon, Spielessen or PAX Unplugged. We'll be happy to see you there. Thank you for being with us today and have a wonderful weekend.